Life may move at a speed that's really hard to keep up with, but justice, you know the saying, the wheels of justice turn slowly and grind exceedingly fine. And for people of color, the belief is those wheels may not turn at all.
Not justice!
No peace! No, listen up, stop.
I'm leaving! I'm leaving, y'all tell me to, man! Yeah. Stop resisting, man! I'm not! No peace! Please, don't shoot me, man!
Step out and face me.
There are so many people right now who are willing to listen to a narrative in which people of color are hurt and killed by police officers.
This trial kind of demonstrates that no one is really above the law.
It is always a difficult thing to address race in a criminal trial. So we don't usually litigate societal matters, systemic problems in criminal trials, because we want to be sure we keep the focus on the defendant and whether he committed the crime that he's been accused of. Did you kill somebody? Did you have the mental state to kill that person? Do you have an excuse for killing that person? We don't usually say, why did you kill that person? Everybody wants to know why you kill somebody. That's why motive is such a big deal. But for most offenses, the state isn't required to prove it.
It's almost inevitable that we don't see the intersection between law and race.
There are, some neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods of people of color, from people who are brown and black, are overly policed. And so in that sense, this over-policing of black and brown people has, caused some disproportionality and has skewed the intent of the law.
I went to middle school with someone who was killed by an officer at a gas station. And so this is something that I was exposed to as early as 12 years old. And in balancing that conversation, I've also had people who were taken by neighbors or in a drive-by.
The law requires that if somebody is going to be held accountable for discriminating, they do so because they intended to discriminate, right? They had a bad heart. It's extraordinarily hard to prove that a person has a bad heart. And I can't think of anything that a person would less likely to be guilty of. So they fight back pretty hard.
What the public sees is race. And I don't necessarily think they're wrong for believing that.
All these people of color who have died, this is not just it's not just a one case thing. This isn't an isolated event. This is something that has occurred over years.
Race is the story in the Minnesota trial. It is the story. If he is a person who does not ordinarily treat people of color well or doesn't want to have dinner with them or whatever, that doesn't mean he intentionally or recklessly killed George Floyd.
Both hands. Put your hands up right now.
It is always easier to defend a police officer. They've got this capital when they walk in. I was acting in the line of duty. I was protecting you law-abiding jurors. And this criminal defendant colored outside the lines in some way that I had to behave in a way that I didn't want to behave, but my job required it.
We can talk about police officer, suspect. We can talk about white man, black man. But at the end of the day, the question is, somebody killed somebody else. And was there just cause? Was there, when we strip all of these titles away and strip all of this background away and all this character, is he responsible for the death of another person?
I think that this is going to be a great time to, one, watch this case play out and see how the law treats this act. And moving forward, it allows us, potential new attorneys, to have dialogue about how we can help change the system.
How can anybody think that this is not a crime, that this is not wrong?
The understandable reasons are that the way our system works, the prosecutors and the police work hand in hand. Police officers have a dangerous job. We accept the reasons that we've been given for what they do. We have an understanding that what they do is difficult and that people really do treat police officers badly for no reason. The danger is that you have become so desensitized that you look at criminal defendants and you don't believe them. Or even worse, you look at whole communities and you think they are more likely to lie, they are more likely to have guns, they are more likely to shoot cops.
I think also what makes this case very, high at stake and very different is that there's more trials to come. There are other officers that will be facing trial.
And I think the answer we get is going to tell us a lot about, how people view law and race.
We all carry some bias with us. We all respond more negatively to people the darker their skin is, across the board, all of us. And the experiences that our jurors have are, pardon the expression, whitewashed experiences. They are not informed by a broad understanding of all communities. When jurors look at people of color and when judges look at people of color, there are several things that they are not able to do as well as they can do with people who look like them. You're a 16-year-old kid and you carry a gun for protection in your neighborhood. A white juror is going to have a really hard time with that, even if they've got a Second Amendment flag in their front yard.
You're waiting on this one and holding your breath to see what's going to happen in the others.
It's going to be easier for the jury to say, oh, well then implicitly, they're not going to say it consciously. Oh, well then it's more understandable that somebody put a knee on his neck for 9 minutes. It's just going to be easier to say he deserved it, or at least it's understandable.
But would they think that if he were a white man?
It will be easier for them to do it because he's a person of color. They have a picture in their head that television helped create about what an urban Black man is like. A lot of people are looking at this case as the moment in which we pivot and something that more closely approximates justice for everybody comes out the courtroom door. If that doesn't happen, there's going to be profound disappointment.
I think once we get that verdict and we hear what happens, we need to say, what happens next? What do we do next? Because that won't be the end of that story.
I think we really need this to be the case in which the right thing happens.